Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about auto layout and responsive design. Let's get right into the video. So the first things you want to do is know what frame size you want to use for your designs. And once you've established the frame size, which in my case I'm using 1400, which is 1400 as width, you can take a screenshot on the internet if you want to. Once you take the screenshot, you can right click on the image and then go to frame selection. Now we have that, and this is our frame 1400. So we're going to give it a layout grid and we're going to try to track what pixels have done in theirs. And I'm just going to go to the margin and increase that. Holding shift, I'm increasing that by 10. And that's 120 for the width. We need a logo for the pixels. This is quite easy to do. All you need to do is use the rectangle tool. So I'll just draw a rectangle and then I'll duplicate that. Select both of them, give it a stroke so you can see what you're doing. And then this one, I'm just going to move it in. And then this one, I'm going to round it completely. And one of the edge, which is the top, I'm going to make that 0. Now you can select both of them, give it a color and then unify them. Now we have the pixels logo, and then you can increase the stroke. Yes, let's select this one and remove the stroke from this, make that 0. Let's grab our frame tool and then draw a frame, and we're going to select this color and just round that by 10. Pixels logo would be white. Right, we have this. You draw pixels and we can increase that. Now this is where the first case we're going to use auto layout. Now if we move this out, I'll show you what auto layout does. Now we have these both elements with a distance of 13, and with auto layout it helps organize your designs, but this is not the best use case. I'm going to show you how we can use it further, but with this all I need to do now is simply go up to auto layout and click auto layout. Now remember, you must select more than one item to see auto layout. Let's say the text was on its own, you will not find auto layout in the panel on the right. Or if you have more than one item and you select it, you would find auto layout. And the same works for this frame as well. With this frame, because it's not an auto layout frame, we can put it in an auto layout and you're going to see that the padding becomes both equal. All right, so that is how you can create basic auto layout. But now when you have one item and you just want to create a button, to do this is very easy. You need to use the shortcut, which is shift plus letter A. And once you do that, it gives you an auto layout, and you can see that in the panel on the right. And with this, you can choose a color, and there you're going to have your auto layout frame. Now inside of this frame, we can make it bigger by selecting the text and duplicating it multiple times. And the more you duplicate it, the more the frame extends. But if you had used a group, what you would do is go to the rectangle tool and you draw a rectangle, and then you select this, send this one to the back, select both of them, center align horizontally and vertically, and then you're going to press Ctrl G. Now when you have, maybe you want to change the text from pixels to something like get started, you're now limited and you have to do this over and over again. You have to select the frame or the shape and then extend, and most times the calculation would not be correct. So to fix this, all you need to do is use the first method, which is simple. Select your text, press shift plus letter A, and you have an auto layout, and then you can give it a color of your choice. And with this, you can even control the padding on the left horizontal and vertically. You can even control the distance between elements. Like if you have two elements now in the box, you can control the distance between both of them, either by using this indicator here or by using it over here, which is called the space between items. If we type in the text get started, you see that the frame extends, it grows with the text, and that is the result you want to achieve. So let's get back to our design. Within our design, we'll select both of them, put them in auto layout, and we can do the rest of this. This is around 12 to 14, so I'll type in explore. We'll come back to all of this. The major place I want to show you is down here. The second part of using the auto layout is this search bar. Now you can see there are several elements playing out in this search bar. A filter that you can filter between photos and some of the other things that Pixels offers, like videos and so on. And then you have a proper search bar. So to put all of this into the same auto layout frame or into one frame using auto layout is pretty simple. We're going to type in photo, or let's change ours to video. Make that 14. You can try to explore yours and see which one works. So I'm using semi-bold Inter for my font. And then I'm going to get an icon, a proper icon. I'm using material symbols. We need another icon, which is the collapse. All right. And then we need more text. So we're going to type in search. And then we need one more at the end. Now we have all of our elements. Let's just make all of them white. So we'll bring out our elements, and then we have all that we need to make this happen. We're going to group it. So we have this search and this icon, and we'll put them in auto layout. Just choose auto layout. Now it's in an auto layout. We can reduce and increase the distance whichever way we want. We're going to come over to these other guys, select all of them, and put them into an auto layout as well. Now we have all of them in an auto layout frame. The last thing you want to do is group both of them. But before you do that, let's give these guys some padding. So we're going to give it some padding, like 10 horizontally and 10 vertically. Select with this one and put it in an auto layout frame. So you'd use Shift plus A, it's in an auto layout. Let's increase the distance between this guy and this other guy. So I'm going to use 20, and then you can give it some padding. I'm going to completely round mine. For this one, you can give it some padding just to create that top and bottom spacing. The horizontal and vertical padding, we're going to choose somewhere around 4. I think 4 or 6 should work. So let's do that and give it a stroke first. Yes, this is good. And then we'll completely round this by rounding the radius. But we have an issue with the end here. You can see that the distance here between the icon and the end is not like ours. Even though we make ours like theirs by making the radius 10, you can see that the distance is still not really cool. So what can we do to fix this? You will need to apply a new setting called individual padding. So once you click on it, you're going to have all 4 corners just the same way we have all 4 radius. So select the part that you want to increase, which is this part. You're going to even see it being highlighted when you're trying to work on it. So we're going to select this and let's give it a double number. So at the moment we have 16. I'm going to make that 12. We're going to change this one back to 10. Let's see 10. Let's see 8. Yes. 8 is okay, and this one is 10. We're going to make this one 12. Yes, this is perfect. Now we can give this a color just by clicking, and then we have a color for it. And this other one, we can just pick this color that they have, and that's not what I wanted to do. So we'll pick the color that they have, and then we'd also still have like a stroke for it. Something in the dark side of our color wheel. We don't have their result yet. So to get the same result, all we need to do is extend this frame. Now we want the frame to be fixed. We don't want it to move with the same way the others would move. So we always want it to be fixed depending on what pages you would find this same search bar. So now what you have to do is just extend the frame from one end. You can extend it out to the length of whatever search bar or whatever element width that you want it to be. And once you have this, it's now time to make it responsive. Now you can see that when we try to reduce and increase it, nothing was happening. Everything was still static. But this is where we apply responsiveness, so that if we want to use this element on a mobile phone, on a tablet, on another display, it would still be responsive when we try to reduce the elements on that particular screen. So to fix this, we need to select these guys because they are on hog content. Most times you see them in fixed. That is honestly not what you want to do. So we're going to come up here to where it says horizontal resizing. Horizontal resizing is from left to right, and this other one is vertical resizing, which is from top to down. Which one do we want to fix? We want to fix the length, which is the horizontal padding. So come up to horizontal padding. You're going to select it and choose fill container. Now it's going to fill up the container. You can see the arrow already pointing left and right, but it is going to fill it up on the right hand side. Now we have this. When you do this, some of you will start panicking that it didn't work for me and all of that. It has worked, Abby. It is working, but there's something else you need to do. The icon cannot be on fill container. So if you do that on the icon, that's terrible. The icon is going to expand. So what you're going to do is, if you press enter, you're going to select both elements, but that's not what you want to do. You want to select only the search for free videos. So we'll click out, and then you can just select the text for free videos and go back to do the same thing. So it's on hog. We need it to be on fill container. And you can change the distance. Instead of having some random distance, you can come over here to the arrow close to the distance, that's the space between, and you can choose auto. And with that, it's going to bring them both together. If you go back to auto, you're going to see the red line pointing close to the search icon. Yes, I know somebody is saying, yeah, try to reduce it now. If it will reduce, it would reduce. Okay, you can see it. It's now responsive. This guy is going to be replaced by an icon. It will either be just the drop down icon, or it's going to be another icon like a filter icon that would represent what you're trying to communicate. Let's bring this guy into our design and we can move to the next one. Let's select one of the text and we'll bring it down there. What are we supposed to do? I'm going to give you 3 seconds to answer this. To do this, press Shift+A and you would have the auto layout. Now, once you have this, you can now give it a color which is black. You can completely round the radius. Duplicate this, select the text and change the color. Then for the frame, just remove the color. That's all. Don't break the frame. Don't start pressing Ctrl+Shift+G to break the frame so that it's just the text. Don't do that. Allow it be this way. Now, if you move further in your skill, you would going into creating components. So when you start creating components, this would come in handy for you. So we have this and this guy, then we would select auto layout and we put both of them in an auto layout, and then with this one you can duplicate it and you can see that auto layout makes it easy for you to calculate the space. So this tab works the same way like the one we did above. Instead of displaying it inside of a hidden action, it's showing directly on the page, so the users can just easily click on it, whichever one works for you. The next thing is to create this one, which is simple. Just reuse your element, select this one, come above it, and then with this one selected, you can easily change the text to trending, and then you can delete this icon. Change this text from fixed to hog. This is going to be white and this is going to be gray. We have trending done and we have these other tabs done, and then it's time for the images. Definitely you need to have grids, so we're going to use just shapes to represent these images, and then you can draw it in to close it. And then the second one, which is this one, and for this one we're going to drag it down just somewhere around there, and then we'll have the third one, which is going to be this. So the distance between all three of them is 16, and then for this one we're going to bring it down as well. We select both of them now, it's 16. So we'll select this and we'll just extend this a bit, and then select both of these and put them in an auto layout. Put all three of them in an auto layout. Now we have them in auto layout. You can extend them and you can reduce their spacing as well. So we leave them this way. We're going to extend our screen a bit and give it a background color of white. Now I want to show you a different kind of auto layout, which is called wrapping.
Heavy, picky, baby, do you want me? Well, trust me, not all of like me. If it that hard, do you love me?
Now with wrapping, you can create responsive card designs that are responsive when you're creating the mobile view. So we're going to select this one and duplicate it, and you can see it's extending, and that's not what we want. Like, we have a fixed position that we want. So this position is not going to be on hog, but it's going to be on fixed width, because if you do hog, it will keep extending, but if you do fixed width, it would extend. If we click content now and we duplicate this, you can't see it, but it has duplicated. We're going to select this guy, and then we're going to come over here where you see this other arrow in the auto layout panel, and it's called wrap.
Friend of mine, yeah. Don't less, nothing less. Jiggy more. And then you got to do this thing what you're looking for.
Once you click on it, the contents are now wrapped. Then you can start duplicating. So we're going to select this, duplicate, and you can see what happens. It extends the other guy below, and then we can keep doing that. With that, we're going to have a grid of this kind of design. All right, this is exactly what we want. Perfect. 16 all round, top and bottom. I'm going to draw sort of a low fidelity and move it into this frame, and then we'll select these two, put them in auto layout, extend them to the end, and then this text is going to be, since we only have two elements here, this one is on auto layout, so we're going to select this frame and just put it on auto. It will extend, and then we have this guy, so we'll select these two, put them in auto layout. All right, centralize them, the both of them, use the alignment tool, send it to the end, and then we can increase this by 120. Let's see, reduce it some more, give it a stroke so we don't have to guess things, and then give it padding at the top and bottom. I'm giving it 40 in padding, and we have this guy. The down part, we're just going to extend it some more, and then we can get rid of that other guy. Give the frame a color, and then we're going to choose a color. Yes, maybe make it darker so that our elements can pop, and we're going to take out the stroke. These guys are next, put them in auto layout, and we'll put that at auto. Select with this guy, put him in auto layout as well. I'm using the shortcut Shift A, and then I'll give it a distance of 16. And yeah, we have this. We're going to select it with this one and this one as well, the three of them, because those are the only elements on this board now, and then we'll put them in auto layout. Now the space between them is perfect. We have 38. Let's make that 36, and yes, this is perfect. Now one last step, we're going to select our frame and we're going to put it in auto layout, and that completes the auto layout. We'll need a padding down here, so what do? We'll break it into independent padding, and then this down part that says bottom padding, we're just going to give it 120. Now we're done with this, but we need to do some settings to ensure that when we switch it up to a mobile view, that it's responsive. All right, if not, we may have to do some adjustments. So there are certain ones we would have to do adjustment to. So we're going to start from the top, ensure that the frame is on fixed width, and then from the top we have this as fixed. We want it to be fill container, and then the element inside of it would also be in, not in fill container. This one is not going to be in fill container, but this other one at the top would be in fill container. All right, we have this. We'll select this inner frame and we'll change that to fill container. It's back to what we wanted, and then we have this fill container. This is on fixed. It's good at fixed for now. This is fill container, so we've sorted those ones. Now we'll come over to this one and we'll change it to fill container. All right, that's exactly what we want. And then the inner one, we're going to also change that to fill container, but not this ones. This ones we're going to change it to wrap. So we'll change these ones to fill container. They run end to end. We'll select this and we'll change it to wrap. Right, and then we'll select this. Once you have that, now we can now give it a padding. The padding is going to be 120, which is 120 what we used. If you select this and press Alt, you're going to see the distance here, which is 120. Now we've sorted this. This is on fill, this is on fill as well, and then this is the final one. So for this one, we're going to give it a fill container. It's going to fill up the entire container. All right, and then we'll give it a padding of 120. We're going to fix this one when we switch to mobile. Now to switch to mobile, just duplicate this frame, and for my mobile designs I use 390 for my width, so I'm going to put it at 390 in the width up here and press enter. Now some of the elements were responsive and some other ones were not, because we also have padding issue. So we need to change the padding where we have 120, like this one. We have 120, change the padding to 20, which is the horizontal padding, and then we'll come back to that. This one, we're going to give it a padding of 20 as well. And then for this is going to be fill container and it's on wrap. And then you can change the distance to like 10 or more. Make that centered aligned, and that's perfect. This one was responsive. Then we have to fix this guy now. So we have a padding in here, which is 100, 100. We're going to change that to 20 in horizontal padding and 40 in vertical padding. And with that, we can make this guy fill container and he will be responsive. Like I said, these other guys will not be needed. So you can easily just get rid of these other two icons and change the icon for this to something else. But let's leave it at this for now. And we can move further to work on these other guys. You can see they responded, but the frames inside are unfixed. So that is why we don't have something that is so responsive. All right, and this is what we're going to do for this. We're just going to give it a, it's going to be on wrap, and we're going to try to like give this a fill container, select the elements inside of it, fill container. For this one that is alone, that is not inside a frame, we're going to have issues with it. And the issue is this one is inside of a frame and this one isn't. So even though you put it inside a frame by giving it an auto layout, we'll still have the same issue with it. So my advice for this kind of elements is, if you have something like this and you're trying to put them in an auto layout like this and it's not working for you, just give it a fixed width. So you can check the width of this one, which is 350, and then you can change this one to 350. So you can use that same method for the rest of them. Now once you've done this, you can now test how responsive this is. All right, remember that you would still have to give it some padding if you design from web to mobile. Let's test how this works. Now if we extend, not the inner one, the main frame itself, sorry, if we extend it, you can now see how responsive this is. And this is how you can easily design for web and mobile. If you have to design for like a larger screen, there are some screens that are up to like 2000 in width. You can easily just do that by extending this and then fixing in all your images back. And then you can constrain this one. How you can do this is giving it another frame. So if you right click and give it a frame, you can now give it an auto layout, and with that frame you can extend it. So we have this, and that would still be responsive. All right, just that when you make it mobile view, you have to make that you have to change the padding of this one. And yes, we're done. Now you can even add your images by just going to on splash. You can easily choose any image that you want. Right, then you can change the text to white or this one. or this one. I think I like this one, but this one is better. Right, so if you have this, you can apply the same on the mobile view, and then you can add more over here. We're just going to do this. And with that, we now have ourselves an amazing design. I'll see you guys in the next video where we are going to design the Google Chrome landing page.